You've been told to learn your scales, all of them. But what do you actually do with them? In this video, you're going to get a quick tip that will show you a new way to think about scales and how to use them when you improvise. Hi, my name is Jason Klobnak and I'm a jazz trumpeter from Denver, Colorado that helps musicians find a better way to improvise. If you're looking for a quick jazz improv tip that will help your soloing, then you've come to the right place. If you've seen some of the other videos on this channel, you might think this guy is anti-scale, which is only partly true. It's not so much that scales are bad, but how they're put on a pedestal in jazz education. In this video, I set the record straight. Do you need to learn your scales? The answer is a resounding yes. They're important pitch collections that can help color your lines. But do you need to learn them in the way that the only way to play over this chord is that scale? No. That is the problem. If you're trying to apply a different scale to each chord, your mind starts to lock up and the progression takes control, not you. We want to shift the control the other way. You lead the melodic phrase forward. If you have seen some of my other videos, you probably have an idea of how I view the concept of targeting, which is aiming at a goal note with purpose. Scales become a tool to get to your target, whether that's thinking about it in the micro or macro way. Let's start with a little bit of theory first. There's a concept called secondary dominance. Without getting too deep in the weeds on this, it's actually pretty simple. It's making the chord before the next one in the progression a dominant. For example, if we take this simple 3-6-2-5-1 progression, notice how the 6th chord is minor? If we change it to a dominant chord like this, it is now the dominant of the 2 chord. A dominant to D minor is the 5-to-1 relationship. It's not the dominant chord of the key, but it's the dominant chord of the 2 chord, which is why they're called secondary dominants. Now, why is this important to know? Because our ears have been trained for years to hear this strong relationship of dominant to tonic. So here's the tip that will transform your playing from being controlled to controlling the line. It's a form of turning whatever chord or even note you're targeting into a temporary 1 chord and making either half of the measure or sometimes full measure before you get there into a secondary dominant. Let's look at an example. This progression is from Tadd Dameron's Lady Bird. Notice how in measures 3 and 4 there is an F minor 7 to B flat 7, but then it goes back to C major 7? The B flat 7 to C7 is not the dominant to tonic relationship, although it is a certain type of cadence, but that can be for a different video. But if I were to change the B flat 7 to some type of G dominant chord in my mind, it will sound good because it leads into the target chord of C major. You may be wondering, well, how does a type of G scale fit over B flat 7? You're right, it doesn't. But yet it works and gives the line forward motion. You lead the line into the chord changes as opposed to reacting to them. This is why I'm not a fan of saying, use an X scale over this Z chord for everything. So here's an example of what this might sound like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Is this the only spot in this song that this can be applied? Absolutely not. It can be used over virtually every chord. Here are a few other spots I might use it on. The scale or any other tool you decide to use is just that. It's a tool to get you to your target note or target chord. It can truly transform your playing. It's also covered in my targeting masterclass, which you can check out in the link in the description below. Let's try this out over Tadd Dameron's Lady Bird. I'll play 2 choruses, and then why don't you take 2 right after me? I hope you've enjoyed this video and that it has added value or benefit to your playing in some way. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell that's right next to it that lets you know when another video comes out. And if you know any other musician that might find this useful, you can share it with them too. Until then, my name is Jason Klobnak, and I'll see you on the next one.